Welcome to the first lesson in our school college's Excel Workbook series. In this series, we'll build a practical spreadsheet solution that helps organize student, guardian, attendance, assessment, and payment information. Along the way, we'll create inquiry screens, management dashboards, and professional control checks using standard Excel features. The workbook has been designed for educational purposes. It demonstrates spreadsheet design principles and shows how powerful Excel can be when worksheets, tables, and functions are combined effectively. Before we can build inquiry screens or dashboards, we first need a solid foundation. One of the biggest mistakes people make when designing spreadsheets is jumping straight into formulas and charts. Professional spreadsheet developers work differently. They first design the underlying structure because when the foundation is well designed, everything else becomes easier to build, maintain, and expand. The business problem. Imagine you're responsible for organizing information in a busy school or college office. You need to keep track of 200 students, 170 guardians, 800 attendance records, 1,200 assessment records, hundreds of payment transactions, teachers, classes. Without a logical structure, information quickly becomes duplicated, inconsistent, and difficult to retrieve. Our objective is to build a workbook where information is entered once, linked correctly, and then made available instantly through inquiry screens and management reports. Rather than storing everything on one worksheet, we'll divide the workbook into specialist worksheets, each with its own purpose. Data. Worksheets. These are where information is entered and maintained. Students. Guardians. Teachers. Classes. Attendance. Assessments. Payments. Each worksheet stores one type of information only. For example, student details belong on the student's worksheet, while attendance information belongs on the attendance worksheet. Keeping data separated in this way makes the workbook easier to maintain, reduces duplication, and allows information to be reused throughout the workbook. Then we have worksheets which let users interact with the data. Reception inquiry. Student records explorer. Principal dashboard. Rather than entering data, these worksheets retrieve information from the datasheets automatically. Users rarely need to search through hundreds of rows because the workbook brings the information to them. One of the first things we do is convert every data range into an Excel table. Tables provide several important advantages over ordinary ranges. They expand automatically as new records are added, copy formulas automatically, provide built-in filtering and sorting, make formulas easier to understand, create dynamic ranges for reports and dashboards. Throughout this workbook, every major datasheet is stored as an Excel table. This is one of the reasons the workbook remains easy to maintain as it grows. Now let's look at the importance of drop-down lists. Accurate information begins with consistent data entry. Imagine different members of staff entering. Year 1, Year 1, Year 1, First Year. Although they all mean the same thing, Excel treats them as different values. To prevent this, we use drop-down lists. Instead of typing, users simply choose from approved values such as year group, class, status, payment status. Drop-down lists improve consistency, reduce typing errors, and make reporting much more reliable. ID codes, the backbone of the workbook. One of the most important concepts in professional spreadsheet design is the use of unique ID codes. Every major record has its own identifier. For example, ID for student, ID for guardian, ID for teacher, ID for class. Instead of repeatedly storing names throughout the workbook, we store these ID codes. For example, an attendance record contains student, ID S0, 0, 4, 2, rather than repeatedly storing the student's name. Later, when we need the student's details, Excel retrieves them automatically. This approach keeps the workbook smaller, faster, and much easier to maintain. Now, although each worksheet has its own purpose, they are all connected through these ID codes. The student's worksheet sits at the centre of the workbook. Each student is linked to one guardian, one class. Attendance records reference the ID for students. Assessment records reference the ID for students. Payment records reference the ID for students. Rather than copying information between worksheets, we simply create relationships between them. This is one of the key principles behind professional spreadsheet design. At this stage in the creation process, there are very few formulas. That's intentional. Before writing a single XLOOKUP or COUNTIFs function, we first make sure the workbook has clean data, consistent ID codes, properly structured Excel tables, validated data entry, logical relationships between worksheets. Once those foundations are in place, building inquiry screens, dashboards, and reports becomes much simpler. This approach also makes the workbook easier to expand in the future. In this lesson, we've created the foundation that the entire workbook relies on. We learned why professional workbooks separate data into dedicated worksheets, why Excel tables are essential, how drop-down lists improve data quality, why unique ID codes are the backbone of the workbook, how worksheets are linked together without duplicating information. Although this may not be the most exciting stage of the project, it is undoubtedly the most important. A well-designed structure makes every report, dashboard, and inquiry screen easier to build and far more reliable. In the next video, we'll create the inquiry screen, where all of this carefully organized information comes together. Using XLOOKUP and other Excel functions, we'll retrieve information from multiple worksheets and present it on a single professional inquiry screen, demonstrating how Excel can be transformed from a simple data entry tool into a practical information and reporting solution.
Whether you're looking to improve your own Excel skills or train an entire team, we've built a practical course for real-world Excel users. Our 6-level online program takes learners from beginner to advanced and now includes using Excel with AI, ensuring every skill level is covered. For businesses and universities, we support groups from 3 users to over 1,000. Managers can track progress, monitor results, and see team performance in real time. Course levels include online exams, and learners who achieve 75% receive an automatically generated CPD-certified Excel certificate. Individual and corporate group licenses available. Learn Excel. Work faster.